Hello YouTube, this is a bit of a difference to my usual videos because I'm not working today, but an issue has come up that I can't really wait until tomorrow to talk about. So this will be a short video. I have got a job booked in for tomorrow, Friday. Prior to me receiving that particular job, I had a conversation with somebody, a shipper, and it made me wonder what was the truth of the situation to do with fireworks. So before I start, I am not qualified or experienced to give any advice to anybody about the carriage of fireworks. However, I can give a layperson's perspective on the carriage of fireworks, and I'll give you my perspective on that. So I had a conversation with a shipper on a job that I'd bid on and won, where they said that there were 2 pallets, and within the pallets there was some fireworks, and that because it was less than a certain amount, I can't remember quite what he said. In my head I've got 95 kilograms, but that seems like that could be inaccurate. He said a figure, let's say 95 kilograms, but don't hold me to that as being what he actually said. And because below that figure that he mentioned, that it wasn't under ADR regulations. And so I just clarified with him, is it ADR aware? And he said, no, it's not. And so I then said, can you put a note on the booking to say that before I would accept it? Now, that made me think, that doesn't sound right to me. That just does not sound like it's correct. Now, as it was, that job got cancelled, and so I had plenty of time to, while for other jobs, to look into it a bit more. And so I've asked a friend who is ADR sort of qualified, and I checked online using the Google search engine, which now has an AI element to it, so you can put in a question that's quite specific and it comes up with a very clear answer. And it was very clear that there is no exception for any quantities to do with fireworks. Fireworks are regarded as being explosive, and that there is no amount that you can take that is not under ADR regulations. But there was one exception, ironically, which I think is really confusing. So I thought I'd do this video about this, and it's a government released amendment. Really, it's temporary, but it exists. And if you want to find it for yourself, I'll put a link to it or a copy of it in this video. It's not a long document at all, it's easy to read and understand, but it's authorization number 1051, and basically what that says is, back in mid-August of this year, the government has authorized fireworks to be transported without the need for ADR regulations, and that's between the dates of the 19th of August 2024 and the 31st of January 2025. So it is a temporary exception. It doesn't say why. It isn't, to me, clear now whether we are allowed to take fireworks or we're not. So I made a decision for myself, and my decision was very simple. I am neither trained to take fireworks, I am not got the equipment on my van to deal with an issue with fireworks, and I'm not insured to take fireworks. So for me it's very simple. I'm not going to take any load that has fireworks. And yeah, that's it really. That's what I wanted to say. Everyone, I'm hoping that people who know more will be able to give me some sort of view on what they think about the situation, but it does seem that this exception has muddied the waters somewhat. Not for myself, but it might do for other people. And the other thing I wanted to mention just in passing is when I was speaking to the shipper about this, at no point did they mention this exception. That was not the reason they were saying that we could take fireworks. They were saying it was limited quantities and that was the reason why we could take it, which I know is factually incorrect. So I lost a lot of faith. Well, no, I didn't have a lot of faith, to be honest, in the first place. I lost any faith I had left in the ability of this shipper to know what they're talking about. I'm going to... For those people who are in logistics and do this regularly, I'll tell you enough of a clue that you'll understand why I have much faith in this. It's a national shipper that has franchises. So every franchise is different. They're not necessarily trained all the same way. And this particular franchise that I was dealing with obviously hasn't got a clue what they're doing. But then maybe lots of others don't. And I'm sure it's not just this franchise, I'm sure it's lots of other shippers as well that wouldn't know what's going on. And it does worry me to some extent that there could be drivers out there who have no idea and wouldn't bother looking about the regulations and would just take this on the say so of somebody else, particularly when things are so tough at the moment for drivers. So it's another example, one day after my yesterday's rant, where I'm feeling a shipper is taking advantage of drivers, and I don't believe they're doing it through ignorance. On the job on CX, there was no note of it having fireworks prior to putting bids on. It was only because when the guy called me, he mentioned to me verbally, and my instant response was, because I'm quite compliant, to ask a few questions, but to agree to do it. And I'm glad now that got cancelled, because it gave me a chance to reflect upon it a bit more and think, no, it's not for me, I don't want to do that. So I now know in future, whenever the word fireworks is mentioned, I'm not going to touch that job with a barge pole, no matter how desperate I am for work. And believe me, I am desperate for work. So that's my little video. I have got a job for tomorrow, which is a nice paying job, and it's a nice long distance. So I will be on the road, and I will be hopefully having a successful day. But I'll leave that here and just post it up when I get home tonight with a little link to the authorisation that I found. Thank you. Farewell, friends.